Oh, welcome to meditation this morning. And we're carrying on from what we were talking about last week, which was looking at Bhakti Yoga, the yoga of the heart, the yoga of love. And the great yogi Sri Yukteswar, who was Swami Yogananda's guru, was really a much more of a jnana yogi, great yogi of wisdom. But even he said, we all become bhaktas in the end, because the quest of life really is this experience of your heart's true feeling. And he said, love is God. This is not merely the noblest sentiment of a poet, but an eternal truth. And so for so many on the planet at the moment, this is by far the best way to experience your inner self, to grow in your relationship with the divine, with spirit, with the Lord of your heart, my heart. And so a Bhakti Yoga is a yogi of love and of devotion, who yearns for an ever deeper, ever new relationship with the divine. And so I thought we'd just listen to a little bit more of what Sri Yukteswar had to say and just look at what it might mean to us in our life. So the first thing he says is, the heart's natural love is the principal requisite to attain a holy life. The heart's natural love. So he's not talking about something that you're not. He's talking about experiencing who you really are, experiencing this love that's at the core of our being. So I think that's a wonderful place to start. This is natural, this is normal, this is who you are. We're not desperately trying to make ourselves into something we're not. What we're trying to do is have a deeper experience of who we really are. And then he says, when this gift, this heavenly gift of nature appears in the heart, it removes all causes of excitation from the system and cools it down to a perfectly normal state. So there's a few things there that I think are worth looking at. The first is this idea that this love in your heart is a heavenly gift of nature. So it's back to this idea, this is truly who we are. And then something that maybe we don't think about so much, but his book was The Holy Science. He was very interested in the science of enlightenment. And so he made an observation that you don't often hear talked about, which is that love, this beautiful love in our heart, it cools the system. It removes that excitation. And when you think about it, when life is tough and we're doing all kinds of things, busy, our minds and hearts are busy, we get stressed out, we're overheating our system. And so he says that this heavenly gift of love changes that. And when you think about it, when you get stressed and agitated, how good are we at responding to life? How good are our decisions? How well do we treat people? How kindly do we speak to them when we're stressed? And so he says that this love is the way to calm all that. Removes all causes of excitation from your system, and it cools it down to a perfectly normal state. So he's saying, this is your normal state, this state of love. This is who you really are. We have a sneaky feeling inside that this person out in the world isn't really who we are. And he's saying, no, it's not. This is who you are. This love inside of your being that changes everything. that makes us calm, at peace, and able to express love in the world, in our relationships, in our work, in our home life. And he goes on to say, it brings us to this calm, perfectly normal state, and it invigorates our vital powers. And, you know, when you think about it, when you see young people who are in love for the first time, they have a radiance, a vitality about them. And so do the great saints. They radiate love. They have this invigorated, vital power. It makes man perfectly healthy in body and mind and enables him to understand properly the guidance of nature. So we stop living outside of nature. You know, humans are we're pretty good at that. We ignore and we try to harness and use nature, but we don't work with it. You know, we don't have that sense that we're responding properly to the guidance that's out there for us about how to live a balanced life. You know, we have electricity that lights the night for us so we can work on it into the night. You know, I've worked out in Africa, where when the sun goes down, life becomes still and quiet. You know, there might be the glow from a fire, but no light. So able to live within that guidance of nature. And he goes on to say, without this love, you can never find any peace whatever, and life becomes a burden. And it's the cultivation of this love, this heavenly gift. It's the principal requisite for salvation. And it's impossible for man to advance a step without love, without cultivating this love. You know, and that's like, oh, that brings us to the question, well, how are we going to do this? How are we going to cultivate love? And, you know, one of the things that yogis love to do more than anything is to chant God's name and glories. And that's found in all the religious traditions. There's prayer, music, chanting, repeating God's name. So I'd say that was the number one answer to the question of how are we going to cultivate this love? And Ramakrishna has this beautiful, some beautiful words from him. He says, fix your mind on God. Do your work in the world with one hand, do the work in the world with one hand and touch the feet of the Lord with the other. And when you have no work to do, hold his feet fast to your heart with both hands. What a beautiful way to live life. When you're working, one hand working in the world and the other touching the feet of your beloved. And when you have no work to do, hold his feet fast to your heart with both hands. And then just going back to the holy science, and this is something that Ramakrishna used to talk a lot about, but this is Sri Yukteswar saying, by keeping the company of those who affect us harmoniously, we develop our natural love. They help relieve our miseries and bring us peace. On the other hand, avoid those who produce the opposite effect, who damage our health and shorten our lives. It's one of the things I love about Sri Yukteswar. He doesn't in any way pull his punches. You know, Ramakrishna said it equally emphatically, but in a almost a gentler way when he said, you know, chant God's name and glories and keep holy company. Spend your time with fellow devotees, with holy people, so that you're in the company of people who are helping you become more harmonious. And we should be avoiding, if at all possible, spending our time with people who are harming us. Because we've already talked about this idea that love gives you more energy, more grace, more health, and that being with people who harm your love, your heart, bring anxiety and irritation and things into your life, this is not good for us. That as devotees on the path, it's incredibly important to keep holy company and to recognize it. You know, we all have friends that are wonderful, who are kind, who help us grow, that we can sense this harmony and this peace when we're with them. But sometimes we have friends who really agitate us. We have family members who, you know, hard work. And here's Sri Yukteswar saying, spending time with people like that all the time shortens your life. And that's quite powerful to think about, that choosing holy company allows this love to grow in us. It gives us a safe place for love to cultivate the heart's true feeling, which is love. Another way to love is to give of yourself, and not just your belongings, your money. When yogis are thinking of self-giving, they're thinking of giving from yourself, from your being. What kind of things can we give? You know, first and foremost, we can give our time. You know, sometimes we're happy to do it. Sometimes we're not so happy to do it. But love is giving of ourself in that way, to give your time to somebody, to give them your undivided attention. I mean, I can say that, I mean, sometimes I'm gone, I'm over in England and I go back to America, I go up on Palomar to go to a retreat with Guruji, and he'll sometimes, we'll have a few minutes to chat, and he'll sort of, you know, he might ask me, how am I doing? What have I been up to? When somebody gives you that undivided attention, it doesn't take long to catch up, to say the things that have been really important. You know, often we talk for a long time to people about things that are of no interest to either party sometimes. But when somebody genuinely gives you that undivided attention, it's so much easier to speak about what really is in your heart, whether it be something wonderful or something that's troubling you. You know, we don't need huge, long conversations. What a gift to give somebody, to give them your undivided attention, so that you get to hear, not just with your ears, but with your intuition, with the empathy of your heart, and truly with your soul. So that maybe that's all you need to do, is to just listen and love them while you're listening. Sometimes we give of ourselves. I think that we've all experienced being in a relationship with someone where we need to grow in our understanding. You know, sometimes in order to understand them better, we have to grow, we have to understand ourselves better. And sometimes because of the love in our heart, we're willing to do that for them in a way that we maybe aren't able to do it for ourselves. So growing in love, growing in understanding, and being able to be available to give, to love. It's a beautiful way to live. So I thought that we'll take the next 10, 12 minutes and meditate together. And I'm going to just read this prayer. And it was one that Ramakrishna, I don't think he wrote it, but he loved it. And I thought we would just listen to it and then go into meditation. And this is really the prayer of a bhakti, of a devotee to the Lord of their heart. Beloved one, I have none else but you to call my own. You are my peace, my joy, my hope. You are my wisdom and my strength. You are my home, my place of rest, my dearest friend, my present and my future, my heaven and my salvation. You are my ever gracious Guru. You are the way, the goal, the adorable one. You are the tender-hearted mother, the creator, the protector. You are the helmsman who steers my craft across the sea of life. You are my all in all. So just focusing in the heart center. And with a heart full of love, let that love pour out from you to the Lord of your heart. And sensing that love's filling your whole being. Bring it down through your body, your intuition, your thoughts, your feelings. Love in your breath and your physical body as you tense and relax your arms and legs. And just moving from side to side, making smaller and smaller arcs until you're sitting up straight. And gently rotating your head side to side or all the way around in the opposite direction. Gently opening your eyes. Our natural state, love. We're not trying to be something we're not. We're trying to allow ourselves to experience this beautiful state of love and be able to express it to those that we meet and in everything we do. So have a wonderful week and may we grow in love. Namaste.